I wake up in the office of Doc Mitchell. The last thing I remember is being kidnapped by this man who seems to have a suit jacket that doubles as an optical illusion. Looking close at his jacket, I think I can see a pattern resembling the Pope. The amusement at this optical illusion quickly fades as he shoots me in the head. Now I lay, disoriented and confused, in the office of a man who sounds like he is trying to sensualize me with his voice.
How'd I do?
He gives me the option to edit my appearance. Perhaps the doc is less known for taking bullets out of heads and more for plastic surgery. With the option to edit anything about myself, I decide to give myself a desperado mustache. It has always been a goal of mine to sport facial hair, and given that optical illusion man shot me in the head in the desert, I assume that we are in the wild, wild west. I might as well have the appropriate mustache for it. Perhaps I could start a band with Doc Mitchell. Call it Mitchells with Mustaches. But I digress. The doc tells me to get up and test my legs and walk over to the vigor tester. Apparently, Doc Mitchell is also an avid collector of amusement park paraphernalia. I try and answer the questions as truthfully and honestly as possible. I put my strength at a 3 because I don't even lift, bro. Perception is a 3 because I could drive into a lake and I wouldn't notice if my GPS told me that that was the right way. Endurance was a 3 because God created chairs for a reason. Charisma is a 10, largely because of the mustache. Intelligence is at an 8 because I know more fun facts about previous presidents than anyone else I know. Agility is also a 3 because of my love for Cheetos. Luck is a 10 because, if I survived a bullet to the head, I must have Lady Luck on my side. One psychological test later,
Last one.
Doc leads me to the door and gives me a gun and some clothes, and tells me to find a certain Sunny Smiles. He then gives me a Pip-Boy 3000. Taking a look at it, it certainly is no Apple Watch, but he probably can't afford more than that. He didn't even charge me for performing life-saving surgery. Either he didn't charge me, or my insurance covered it. I didn't fill out any paperwork, but I carry on in hopes that it all is sorted out. Looking at the Pip-Boy, I notice the clock is very wrong. In the top right corner, it apparently thinks that the year is 1981. I briefly look for the Pip-Boy's settings, or if nothing else, try and find Google. Alas, my search is for naught. The clock will remain hopelessly incorrect. I exit Doc Mitchell's house to be greeted by a dilapidated town scorched with desert sun. I come from a relatively affluent part of Minnesota, and have been confused on why everybody seems so mad about the state of the economy. But after seeing this, I can understand why so many people hate Obama's America. All the cars are rusted out, the roads are crumbling, and the only automated thing in sight is this robot on a unicycle.
Howdy, partner. Might I say you're looking fit as a fiddle?
His friendliness is suspicious. His arm looks like it doubles as a gun. I think it would be best if I leave him alone. I wander around aimlessly, trying to gather myself and figure out exactly where I am. I see a very diseased-looking cow/sheep thing. I find a local by the name of Good Springs Settler and try to get some answers. Unfortunately, he just mumbles a greeting to me and offers nothing else. Slightly discouraged, I decide to follow the doctor's advice and seek out Sunny Smiles. On my way into the saloon where she is located, I strike up a conversation with an elderly man by the name of Easy Pete. I try to figure out what is going on, but he only wants to talk about Raiders, the Legion, and the NCR. Not sure where the United States government is, but I suppose it's to be expected, this being the wild, wild west and all.
Cheyenne, stay. Don't worry, she won't bite unless I tell her to.
I meet with Sunny Smiles and we team up to kill some geckos. While I appreciate her giving me the lowdown on how to survive on my own, I would really appreciate some information on where I was. I start to set myself to take on the geckos when I realize that time has stopped. It seems that, in addition to getting a bullet out of my brain, Doc Mitchell had me cyber-augmented. I was basically RoboCop. I shoot the geckos and head back into town to collect 2 ingredients for healing powder, as per Sunny's instructions. I collect some xander root by the schoolhouse and some Brock flowers near the town cemetery. I then notice that I can dig up people's graves. My own curiosity trumping my sense of respect for the dead, I dig to find not human remains, but ammunition. I knew that gun culture was fairly widespread in this area, but I never knew the devotion to guns ran this deep. I look up to find a huge mass in the middle of the graveyard. It looks like a jellyfish covered in mud, and it is pulsating. I look inside of it to find 4 red scorpion poison glands. I try to erase that image from my head as I head back to Sunny with the ingredients that she requested.
Let me see what you got. Yeah, these'll do just fine. Just fine.
Healing powder completed, and I head into town and happen upon a conflict between the local bartender and a man identifying as Joe Cobb. I discover that their conflict is centered on a traitor that is being chased by Joe Cobb and his gang, and who is holed up in a gas station in town.
He's holed up at the abandoned gas station up the hill.
I proceed to the gas station to meet this traitor, only to be met with him pointing his gun at me. This is the first time someone has pointed a locked and loaded gun at me, so I immediately panic and try to get him to put the gun away. He is alarmingly nonchalant about it, talking to me as if he wasn't just threatening my life. After a brief discussion with him still not holstering his firearm, we hatch a plan to get him out of town by rounding up a posse to get Joe Cobb off of his back. He seems resolute that the only way to do this is to murder Cobb and all of his henchmen, which is extreme, but he insists that there is no other option, as Joe Cobb is notorious for burning towns to the ground. I go around town, enlisting the help of Sonny, Trudy, Doc Mitchell, and a local merchant named Chet.
Now just hold on. I never voted to take on the powder gangers.
I alert the traitor that the time has come to do what needs to be done, and we are off. The townspeople, clad with leather armor, each brandishing a weapon, open fire on the miscreants. Joe Cobb responds with his own shooting, and the firefight has begun. I begin to panic as I have never been in a firefight before, bullets whizzing past my head, shouts of war surrounding me. The townspeople seem completely unfazed as the enemy line approaches them. I draw within myself and try to get a grip on what brought me here, with my life on the line in a squabble that I have very little investment in. My life had seemed so safe just yesterday, and now it was just a matter of luck whether or not I lived to die another day. Granted, the vigor tester rated my luck as 10 out of 10, but I was in no mood to verify the accuracy of that machine. The cacophony of gunfire ceases, and all members of Joe Cobb's gang are dead. The townspeople do not seem to celebrate, congratulate, or even feel remorse at defeating their enemies. They seem to react no different than if they found a penny on the ground. It was this that gave me pause about how life and death are looked at, here in the wild, wild west. Life is a fleeting thing, with violence permeating this world. No police force to keep the peace, no laws to govern citizens' behavior. Worse yet, every person seems to be armed. I would need to vastly change how I make decisions if I am going to survive in this environment, so I will make a pact with myself. Every single decision that I make will be governed pragmatically. All morals and reservations that I have will have to be cast aside if I am going to survive long term. I will take on the challenges of this world by being a pragmatist.